So I have actually remembered to do an intro to this video, and this time we are in the West MacDonnell Ranges, west of Alice Springs, and we are going to be doing some road cruising for desert death adders. There's also western and ring browns here, as well as a couple of rare python species like wormer pythons and Bredl pythons, which I'm not really targeting, but it'd just be really nice if we got them. There's certainly plenty of flies around in the interior, so yeah, I won't do too long of an intro. Let's just get into the Herping, and what you're now going to probably see is some road cruising at night. So yeah, we did just hit the road, and it was actually really productive. I was surprised how many snakes we were finding. There's a lot of repeat species you're about to see, like this curl snake we're starting off with here. So I didn't film every single thing we found, but enough to show their abundance. Next thing on the road, little Burton's legless lizard. This one's lost a large chunk of his tail and is quite a stripy individual. Very brown, but very stripy. They're very variable species in terms of the morphology. You get really orange ones, really reddy ones, plain ones, stripy ones. And this one's quite a nice striped one. He's actually got some really nice patterning on the head, but we're just gonna let that one go and carry on looking for a death adder. Here's a bit of a close-up of that Burton, seeing as it's the first one and the on-road footage is sometimes a bit rubbish, but they were really nicely patterned around here, so I thought I'd show this one up close. We've got another Furina, orange nape snake. And actually this is a species that occurs with quite vast distribution over a lot of places I've been, yet this is the first place I'm actually seeing them. This is the second one I've got tonight. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. A lot of people, a lot of experienced herpers consider these sort of trash snakes. They're not really bothered by them, but I always like to see new things. It is a front fang species of venomous little elapid. I'll pop a picture in here because this footage is not very good. Another one of these Furina. Very abundant in tonight's conditions. Classic case of you don't see one for all these months herping, and then I've got 3 on one night. And it's important to remember that can happen with your target species as well, so definitely worth carrying on. 4th Furina of the night. Isn't it crazy how you just get the right conditions for something that you haven't seen for ages, and then all of a sudden you can't stop seeing them. There's loads of these active out on the roads tonight it's about 21 to 23 degrees, but you're probably getting as bored of seeing these as I'm finding them, so we'll get this one off the road and carry on. Thought we had another orange nape snake, but this one is another curl snake. So not a new species, but another snake for the night. I've even lost count of how many snakes we've had, and I was hoping for just one snake if we didn't get a death adder, but at least we've had some productivity. It's 19 degrees as well, and snakes are still outside on the tarmac, so that's pretty good. The next thing I found was a Centralian tree frog, and I thought, since I don't film enough non-snaky things, I put in a bit of footage of this one and a picture to show it a bit clearer, because for once I actually got the camera out for an amphibian. These are really cool little tree frogs, and they're actually quite abundant around this area at night. Well, I didn't expect to get a little Anthrasia tonight. That's one species that I knew was here, but I wasn't really thinking about, and I've just taken him off the road and got the opportunity to grab a few pictures on this nice rock. There are the Centralian carpet python, Morelia bredlii, and wormers up here, so I did, that's what my mind first went to when I saw a python on the road. I could tell instantly it was a python, but yeah, the Centralian carpet and the wormer python are 2 very rare species, much rarer than this, so that would have been quite an exciting turn up for the night. But this in its own right is a really nice snake. I did a few pictures of this one, so I thought I would just show what the snake looks like a little bit better, because they are lovely snakes. Really vivid orange on the head there. Let's keep going. For night 1, that was actually the last snake of the road cruise, and we headed to bed kind of early because temperatures were dropping off quick, and I wanted to head out in the daytime for some diurnal species that I'd either missed or not seen yet, so I'll show you that now. Well, we're just doing a little bit of a day cruise because on the way in we missed a western brown, West MacDonnell Ranges, but not a species I haven't seen yet other than that. So I'd like to see that. Also there's parenti records around here, and even thorny devils are found around here, so it's still worth a day cruise. You can see the habitat out the window probably. We've got river gorges, we've got mountain ranges, it's pristine habitat. There's loads of records for everything here, so hopefully we're going to find something. It's just coming up 21 degrees, and when we saw that snake yesterday, the western brown, it was 24, so hopefully in the next hour or something we'll have something to report. This turned into a way bigger day herping than I thought, and we ended up cruising for miles, but we did find some cool stuff, so I've put in a few things we turned up. Just got this really nice beardie on the road, really orangey central bearded dragon Pagona vidiceps, and I'm just wondering, the reason I picked this one up is because I'm wondering if he's been hit by a car. He's acting very, I thought he was dead. I turned around from him thinking he was dead. He's got a little bit of blood just on the face there, but other than that, no damage that I can see, realistically. It looks fine. So I think I'm going to give this one the benefit of the doubt. He's just acting very, you know, I can feel to the touch he's very warm. He's very coloured up in orange, like you can see. It's a beautiful bearded dragon. I'm just not sure he's okay, but he's certainly not too far gone that I'm gonna do anything. I'm just gonna give this one the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully it'll be all right. I've just popped him somewhere just at the base of these logs, just off the road. I think that's probably the best I can do for him. Or maybe that was just shady because of me. I'm not sure if he's going to be alright, to be honest, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully he will be. Got an opportunity to take a picture of another nice bearded dragon here. Central bearded dragon Pagona vidiceps. One of the more well-known reptiles commonly kept in the pet trade all around the world. And I've taken an opportunity to grab some shots of this one in a sort of more natural setting, just because I've taken him off the road. I'm not going to leave him on the road. You see enough of these squash flat to not leave any on the road. This one's really coloured down. He was super bright when I saw him, and obviously he's gone really black now in defence. But we've taken some pictures in the sun, so we'll pop him nice and in the shade, even though he was out basking in the sun, just to make sure we don't leave him getting too hot, and we'll move on. Once we got a bit further from the ranges, we started finding a lot of these central netted dragons too. I know handling clips aren't ideal, but I always say it's much better than leaving things on the road to get run over. So if you see any handling through these next few clips, just know it was all things I was taking off the road and just used the chance to film them. Central netted dragons are diurnal little agamids that can be found on the open sandy plains of WA, Western Queensland and New South Wales, and here in the Northern Territory. They have several shallow burrows that they'll use to shelter in the heat of the day and to hide them from predators. These being such small lizards, they have a lot of predators out here, including snakes, monitors, birds of prey and some mammals. Although they're not rare, it was nice to get an opportunity to grab a few shots of lizards that usually you only see basking on logs and rocks while you fly past at 70 miles an hour. Well, I'm definitely making my journey 10 times longer by stopping for all these lizards. But you see so many squished on the road, it is worth stopping for them. And I'm surprised actually, you stop, turn around, walk up to them, and they don't move at all. Some of the dragons have been flying off, but these guys just sit there. You can see why they get hit. Whoa. So definitely worth taking them off. Well, I don't do handling clips a lot, but let's just put this skink in the sun for a second. That is one of the animals I most wanted to see. This is a Centralian blue-tongued skink, Thankyou multifasciata. Now, I've been really struggling on lizards. I've just found a dead thorny devil, which is the first one I've seen. I haven't seen parentis, I haven't seen these or western blue-tongued skinks. I haven't even done very well on the Nephroris, the knob-tailed geckos. So this, I'm over the moon with this one. There he is, what a lizard. A little bit of a more natural perspective of him. Try and not shade him too much, although we're obviously trying to keep him out of the sun because it is in the high 20s. But yeah, that's a Centralian blue-tongued skink. You can see the flicking of that blue tongue in that defensive posture that he's in now to warn off any potential predators. These things do have quite a few predators to worry about out here. They're a commonly sought after animal in the pet trade, which I imagine is another threat to these guys in the wild. I don't actually think the Centralian ones are kept very much, but I'm not really into the pet trade. I don't know much about it. I would imagine these are a lot more expensive than the ones, the Easterns, Commons and Northerns that you see kept. I'll just try and see if I can go the other side of him too. Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful animal that is. I'm so glad I've seen one of these because, as I said, I was really struggling, so this guy's really made up for it. Just going to let him cruise away now at his own pace. Really grateful to have had a bit of an interaction with him. We found a few dead reptiles on the road. Most I don't post because YouTube will flag it, but I wanted to show you this little central whip snake, a species I'd love to photograph alive one day. I was trying to be really cool and nonchalant about it, but even I will admit this is quite a lot of flies. It probably isn't coming out on the film, but there's quite a lot here. With the exception of a few more road-killed monitors and thorny devils, that was all we saw out in the day. Unfortunately no brown snakes up or NT, but never mind. Then we just headed out for another night on the roads. Starting the second night, how we finished the first night with Furina ornata, the orange nape snake. But because I filmed quite a lot of these, I'm not going to take any time with him. This is all the footage we'll do. And now we'll carry on cruising and try and get a death adder. Sorry about the car noise, but very similar start to last night. And we've got another very similarly marked Burton's legless lizard. This one's also sort of different shades of brown and grey with the stripes running down the dorsal and flank. Quite a similar night, so we'll just carry on. This time we've got a larger Furina ornata. I was actually struggling a bit with the ID at first. I was like, is that Furina? But it's just because it's slightly bigger, it's got duller, and that bright red, that bright orange nape is now pretty dull brown, so. But yeah, still Furina ornata, same species we've seen, so we'll just let this one be. Again, sorry I've left the car on there so you might hear a bit of a roar, but that is a little juvenile children's python. We found an adult last night, which was really nicely marked. And now we've got this little one. I knew it was something different because it's got the speckles and the stripes, which sets it apart from the Furina, the curl snakes, and the Burtons that we've been seeing. So it's another species, but not the target, so we'll carry on. Another little spotted python there's the next snake. Sorry, I'm calling them spotted python. Children's python, this one technically. We all seem to be getting the same species as last night. It's obviously the species that are the most active in these conditions here, but it is a good sign that snakes are not crossing. They're sat out on that tarmac getting the heat, so there's hopefully still a bit of a chance. But to not do too much repeat filming, we're just going to get this one on his way now. Another orange nape snake. I'm just filming these just to sort of demonstrate how many I'm getting. Just let that one go on his way. Snakes are active tonight. Yes! Target achieved. It has been so long since I've had, you know, like a mission accomplished moment with one of these elapids. I missed out on inland taipans. I missed a western brown here on the road in the day. I've not found a ring brown yet, but I've got a desert death adder, Acanthopus pyrrhus. That was the main target of coming here. I hope the yellows are coming out on the body there. It's sort of a browny peach coloration. The caudal lure, I hope you can see that, is jet black. He's gone into a defensive posture now, and you can see the yellows really coming through and that interstitial skin between the scales. You have to be very careful. These are very, very fast striking elapids. And it's surprising how much they can whip themselves out. The whole body can actually come off the ground in some occasions. They almost jump. They've got a real good strike on them, so you have to be careful. But it's allowed me to get this footage of just how beautiful this snake is, which hopefully is coming out in this lighting. Well, I've just been taking a photo of this snake in a slightly more natural location. Well, I've got the chance. And it also gave me an opportunity to film it slightly better, because obviously I was a little bit excited on the road like I always get. I hope this light isn't sort of blowing the snake out too much. I'm trying to keep it just behind him. I think that's probably going to be too much for the for the computer editing, but they're found in arid regions throughout a variety of habitats. This one is, well, I'll have put some habitat shots in, but that's where this one's found. This is quite a young individual, but obviously being death adders, they're not large snakes. This I've noticed had keel scales similar to Acanthopus rugosus. And this is the third species of death adder I've found, because I've also found Prolongus and Antarcticus. So this is a fantastic encounter. It's the snake that I came here for, worth the drive, and it is really nice to succeed in the interior of Australia, because like I mentioned, I've been struggling on some of the other targets in the cold, so really pleased with this one. Let's get him back. Couldn't resist giving you a bit more footage of this one as I left and let it cruise off. I really need to get a better camera because the phone never really does these things justice, but at least here you can see the snake on the move. I'd love to have got better pictures as well, but just gives more reason to come back and find more of these death adders. And the night still wasn't done with us at this point. Another tiny little stripy Burtons. These are really nice locality. I should probably take some pictures of some of these, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep going and keep herping. I only just caught that one as he slithers away, but that one was another little curl snake. Let's see if I can show you him. We're missing one of them. That was the only sort of abundant species last night that we hadn't seen. Now we're really rocking. Well, I just missed this snake doing a bit to camera, to be honest, and just filmed him going into the grass, and then we've come back on the road again and he's back out on the road, so we'll make sure he stays off this time. That's another curl snake, suitor, nocturnal little elapid, feeds on sleeping skinks, geckos, things like that. That's an adult. They don't get very big. The one, if you've watched my Moon Plains episode, the one we found out there was pretty much as big as they get. I couldn't believe they got that big, but this would be a nice adult size. At this point I was really happy I'd found my death adder. The night seemed to be slowing down and giving us the same species we'd already seen, and the temperature was dropping, so I decided to head back. And that's when one of my best finds of the whole Australia trip came along. Now at this point the head torch and the camera batteries were all dying a bit, so I'm sorry if it isn't the footage this snake deserves, but yeah, check this out. Oh my god guys, as if a desert death adder wasn't enough. Look at this, look at those markings. That is a Bredl python, the Centralian carpet python, Morelia bredlii. That is not a common snake. I don't know a lot, but I know that is not a common snake to find. And this is a big one. That's got to be 6 or 7 foot, I would say. That is an absolute treat to see on the road. Let's get a bit of a, show you the head. This is an old snake. This is a fully grown adult. He's seen a bit of life. That is not a common snake at all. Hugely privileged to see this. I would actually say this is rarer than the death adder. I've heard stories of people finding a lot of those death adders in a night. I have never heard people finding many of these. Maybe I'm overhyping it, maybe they're doable, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a rare snake. Look at the tail as well. That's a beautiful tail. The markings on there, especially the end. The jet black scales in there with the cream and that sort of orangey purple that this species is known for. Wow. Well, now that initial excitement's worn off, I can show you this awesome python. I might even, I don't tend to handle on videos, but I might get a bit of footage just holding it, just to give you a size reference of this snake. Obviously we would not leave this thing on the road anyway. It was pretty much off itself, but yeah, there's womas and there's Bredl pythons here, both of which are quite sought after snakes, as are the death adders. I came here for the death adders because I'm a bit of an elapid guy, but I'm pretty sure there's some people who'd be envious of this one. I might be hyping it up. I hope I'm not saying all this and people are, oh yeah, you find them quite regularly, but from what I understand of the area, that's not the case. And I'm pretty privileged to be able to see one of these. And I did feel like I was owed a bit of luck actually, so that's wonderful. I'm going to put some pictures in here because you never get the lighting right on these snakes. It looks kind of orangey, but it's almost like a peachy purple that they're known for on this sort of, this red, it's not red soil, but we're in the West MacDonnell Ranges now, and it's one place where they can be found. But there, I'm going to stop waffling, put some pictures in of this snake and carry on because it's pretty late. Unsurprisingly, this snake was the last thing we found, and so it wraps up this video. I forgot to film an outro as usual, but I think you can tell how happy I was with that little section of the trip. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.